We're here with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, Sheriff of Maricopa County. Sheriff, thank you for your time. Thanks for spending the time
Thank
with
you.
us and talking to Conservative TV Online. We actually spent a lot of time along the border. We flew over the border and we looked at your background, and you have a very impressive background in law enforcement, starting with the Army and then going into the DEA for a full career. A lot of people say that the war on drugs is a waste of money and it's not effective, and that we're actually losing the war. With your background and experience with the DEA, what's your perspective? Are we winning, or how are we doing?
Well, first of all, my background with the DEA, I was a regional director, lived in Mexico City, had offices in Panama, worked with Noriega, had offices in Argentina, was head of the DEA in Texas, head of the DEA in Arizona on different assignments. So I do have 14, 15 years experience on that border. Mm-hmm. Plus, I was the only federal agent in Turkey in the Middle East. So even though I'm the sheriff for 18 years here, I do have a little background on the international traffickers, drugs.
Right.
Now we have the illegal immigration that I've been enforcing in the last 3 years in the interior here in Maricopa County, Arizona. But drugs still are a serious issue. I'm a little concerned with the president of Mexico making the use of drugs legal. That's the best kept secret that's been going on. I don't know why I can't get that word out. He accuses the United States of having all the users. That's why we have the traffickers in Mexico with all the killings going on. And yet he has turned his head now, and you can go and shoot up heroin, meth, and everything else from our country into Mexico. So this drug situation continues to be a political problem, mm-hmm. Law enforcement, economic, and it was nothing's changed except more violence than when I was there in the early 70s. So the drug traffic is still a worldwide problem. When I was in Turkey, I was working the French Connection. That we dried up because President Nixon said we will take care of that international drug organization once and for all. That's been in existence for 60 years, controlled by the Turks in the Marseille, France, and the mafia in New York and Chicago. But we took care of that. So when the President of the United States has the will to wipe out the drug traffic, it can be done. But it is an international problem. The Secretary of State is a critical person because of her ambassadors in foreign countries. Mm-hmm. They have to deal with the presidents, mm-hmm. follow the policy of the United States president. As long as we have users in our country or anywhere, you're going to have suppliers to take care of those users to make money. Of course, we have to crack down at the border. Been talking about that for years and years. The border has always been there. G. Gordon Liddy and I, in 1969, under President Nixon, ran an Operation Intercept, where we sent out hundreds and hundreds of federal officers. G. Gordon and I led the field operation. And the president said, we're closing the border for 2 weeks. Then actually closed it. We searched every car, backed up cars to Mexico City. They hated us. It was a political big problem, and we only seized one marijuana cigarette. So when you concentrate on the border, if you have the will to do it right, things can happen.
Right.
And I took over as regional director. They hated us in Mexico City, had to deal with the Attorney General. I was operational. I had agents working undercover. I worked undercover in Turkey, in the hills of Turkey, the Middle East. We were allowed to do that by the foreign governments. We had the guns. We had gun battles. We furnished all the money and the expertise. Mm-hmm. Operational. And I say that word operational because I think I know how to stop the violence occurring at the border. But nobody wants to listen to me.
you.